Top Dog and TDE finally reveals why Kendrick Lamar absolutely hates the game, and it all played out earlier today. There's been a quiet beef and war between Kendrick Lamar and the game. If you guys haven't noticed, go on Twitter. You see Kendrick Lamar associates dissing game on any given day. But the game feels like Kendrick Lamar hasn't liked him for quite a while now. The game has accused Kendrick Lamar of dissing him on multiple other songs well before this Drake and Kendrick beef, where the game hopped into beef and took Drake backface against other rappers who was dissing Drake. So Kendrick Lamar hasn't liked the game for a while now.
As he would say it, when Kendrick said, "I see dead people" on the beginning of, what song was that?
Not Like Us.
When he said that in the beginning of the song, we did a song where Game said that in the beginning. Dre did the beat.
One Blood. No, not One Blood.
It's another song.
Yes, it was One Blood, right?
Oh, then we did another song where we said that. Game thought Kendrick was subliminally dissing him. I spoke to Game for over an hour. I told Top Dog this. This is a fact. I spoke to him for over an hour, convincing him that Kendrick was not dissing him. When Kendrick did that one where he was talking about Big Sean or all that, Game asked me, was he dissing him in that song?
What element?
The Heart.
Oh, The Heart. Okay.
I went and talked to Kendrick about it. Kendrick was like, man, I would never diss him. What is he talking about? I told Chuck this. And I reminded him that on that conversation. I said, dog, these you like, chill out. This is real. But in his mind, he like is throwing shots at me. So this is what I'm trying to tell y'all, conversations that me and this man be having. This is real. I am his conscience. I be stopping him. But guess what? I had that conversation. Then he started dissing Rick Ross.
Right. Right.
I got to call it down the line. That's some odd behavior from the game. It felt like the game was kind of looking for a reason to diss Kendrick Lamar, because I See Dead People is clearly him talking about Drake and OVO and not the game. But the game was looking for a reason to diss Kendrick, in my opinion, by even asking that, right? But clearly, when the game stepped into the beef, now, if Kendrick Lamar didn't like the game before this battle, he clearly didn't like the game after this battle, because the game stepped in and dissed Rick Ross on behalf of Drake, because it was Drake versus 20 people, right? A$AP Rocky, Future, Metro Boomin, Rick Ross, Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd, like among others, right? It was literally, they were jumping him. Now, the game and Drake is cool. Game is from gangland. So Game is only thinking in gang rules, which is if my man is getting jumped, I'm jumping in. So he jumped in. Now, it may be for clout reasons as well, but he jumped in and started attacking other rappers who were dissing Drake. Kendrick Lamar felt like Game picked a side by stepping in and dissing rappers on behalf of Drake, even though the game never dissed Kendrick Lamar. And that was the game mentality. The game mentality was, if I didn't diss Kendrick Lamar, why is he tripping? Like, why is he tripping? Like, if I stepped in and I'm dissing Rick Ross, a dude who I probably don't like anyways, on behalf of Drake, then why is Kendrick Lamar tripping? But Kendrick Lamar and TDE felt it don't matter. If you stepped into this battle and took Drake's side, you are now an op and an enemy. But here's where you will learn a little later in this video. Game was already an op and an enemy to him.
Yeah.
So last time I seen him, when was that? When we was at the will.i.am thing.
Okay. So
when we went to that thing at FY,
Visionaries.
remember that?
Yeah, Visionaries.
Me and him arguing in the bathroom. It's a whole thing going on in the outside. And this whole conference going on. And he's like, you the reason that I diss Rick Ross. I said, yeah, I wasn't supposed to diss nobody. I told you not to say nothing. Well, you told me not to say nothing about Kendrick. I said, because he wasn't dissing you. Man. Oh.
Oh.
It was a whole thing. Then we had to walk out because that was literally like will.i.am was having a conference thing.
Right.
Man, this is really in there. He's like, man, I was like, dog, you shouldn't have. I told you not to diss nobody. I told you not to say nothing. Say, man, motherfuckers be saying that you won't be hearing it. I said, no one's talking about you, dog. They're not. But you know.
So that's why he wasn't invited to the pop-out.
I don't know if he was invited. I think he could have went if he wanted to.
That's true.
It's not that type of deal. It was no invite or not.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Him and Drake are friends. They're friends. Okay. So I want everybody to understand that. That's his boy. So him and Kendrick, it's a different relationship. You get what I'm saying? It's not like they buddy. Kendrick don't call Game to hang out. It's not that type of We're gonna do a song. Let's do a song. They both from Compton. Kendrick was inspired. Game is a fan of Kendrick. It's not that type of deal. Game is a very competitive. So when somebody game ain't J. Cole.
I hate that for J. Cole fans so much that whenever we bring up somebody who's not a killer or don't got the killer instinct in hip hop, J. Cole is the number one reference, bro. It's kind of like when people were saying, yo, LeBron James don't got the killer instinct, and LeBron James was like the number one reference for a choke artist after the series with the Mavs. This is what it's like in hip hop currently, bro. J. Cole is like the reference for somebody being soft in hip hop. And there's nothing J. Cole can do about it, and I think it's sad, okay? But that's a part of the issue as well. The game felt like he once had access to Kendrick Lamar, and now he does not have access to Kendrick Lamar. So anything that happens, he's taking it personally, right? Now, the game feels like he should have access to Kendrick Lamar because, like Kendrick Lamar was inspired by him. He did favors for Kendrick Lamar when Kendrick was on the come up, but now Kendrick Lamar don't want to really talk to him and has kind of discarded him. The game felt like, damn, bro, like really? Really? Now, the game will even express a stat quo. I think that's his name, stat quo. The game would express a stat that he feels like Kendrick Lamar, right, be ducking him, be avoiding him, and he don't want to have a conversation, and he don't understand why Kendrick don't want to have a conversation. What we'll learn in this video is that Kendrick Lamar has been holding something deep down inside and personal against the game that he hasn't told the game, which I feel like if he would have told the game a whole lot easier, or a whole lot earlier, that would have solved a lot of these issues a long time ago. But because he didn't, he held it within, and now it's coming out publicly. This is the first time the game is even hearing that Kendrick has an issue with him because of this. But here's the game telling stat, he has a problem with Kendrick Lamar not talking to him.
This too, another thing, there's some insight, and I'm gonna say why you on the thing. There's some insight. Dot don't get on the phone with everybody, man. He don't talk to. This what y'all got to understand about Kendrick Lamar. He just not talking to everybody. He talked to Glasses. He's a very few small people that he'll get on the phone with. I think that was another thing that Game had an issue with. He couldn't get Kendrick on the phone. And I'm trying to explain. He's like, man, why won't he just talk to me? I'm just like, hey, man. And I'm explaining to this, everybody ain't the same. I remember having a conversation with Kendrick about that phone and just talking. He's like, that's his vice. Because we were just talking about vices one day. And his vice is being away, like being able to cut things off and cut the world off and no one be able to touch him. Like some people's vice is shopping. He enjoys the fact that just can't get to him.
They want access, and he be like, yeah.
They want the access, and he enjoys to dog. We all when you see Dr. Dre, dog, we all admire the fact that at any given time, bro, Dre can cut access off to anyone whenever he wants. Like you cannot get to this man. Like literally, you can't get him on the phone, can't get him by his house, you can't see him, you don't know where he at. He is like a ninja. And so like Eminem does that, and that's what I be trying to explain. That's why I was explaining to Game when it came to Dot, but he feels as though because he was one of Dot's inspirations that he should always have that access. Sure. But that's just not what it is. I be trying to people have their own way of having to deal with certain things.
Nah, bro. I don't care how much they try to decorate that goofy-ish. It's still goofy, bro. That is weird and goofy-ish. It's simple as that, bro. It's weird and goofy. If you and this man had a relationship and you now like want to cut him off, then tell him. Don't duck his calls, bro. Like, bro, that makes no sense. If Kendrick Lamar had a relationship with the game when the game was somebody that he needed, when the game was showing love to Kendrick, putting his arms around him, taking him on tour, right? Like doing things that big. If the game is helping usher you into the industry and showing you mad love when he didn't need to, I feel like the least you owe him is hey, bro, I don't rock with you because of this, Pete. But I ain't trying to hear the decoration for that goofy stuff, bro. Oh, nah, he's just mysterious. He just, nah, man, he just be disappearing. Dot is like Jesus Christ, Jesus Christ be gone for 2,000 years, he ain't come back yet. That's how Dot is, Dot imitates Jesus Christ. Man, hey, bro, y'all cannot, hey, Stat, you usually fair, bro. You can't decorate this goofy-ish. I watched about 4 clips today of Stat. He sounds like a fair guy. You can't decorate. This is goofy stuff. You can't hop on the phone. Hey, bro, this is why I don't. Hey, bro, this is why I don't rock with you. Especially if y'all had a relationship and a rapport. I don't agree with that goofy stuff, bro, at all. That's just goofy and weird. And like, I'm sorry. Now y'all can't decorate that, bro. So after this story apparently went viral, they were live. And while they were live having a conversation, Top Dog tapped in, right? Top Dog is obviously, the CEO, owner of TDE. Is literally Top Dog Entertainment, right? So Top Dog called in and finally gave the world the real reason Kendrick Lamar don't rock with the game or stop speaking to the game. The reason that they should have probably gave the game, I don't know, a decade ago that they didn't. So they kind of kept the mystery, kept it in the air, kept the game thinking, wait, am I crazy? Am I tripping? Am I not? And they told the world before they told the game, which I just thought is just like, come on, bro. So here is the reason, according to Top Dog, why Kendrick Lamar don't like the game and why he stopped speaking to him.
Lynn says, Stat, we're rooting for you. Hope you're not in trouble. That's funny. Okay.
Hello? I'm back.
Okay. You're back. Okay. Everything good? How'd that go?
Let me tell y'all what that call was about. Okay.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So let me go to the chat. Make sure there's some people in here. Let me tell y'all what that call was about. That call was about Top was calling me to tell me that when these clips come out, we got to tell the whole. He said, I know you telling the whole story, but you got to tell. It got to be in the clip of the whole story because he want everybody to understand. Dot didn't just stop talking to him for no reason. After that video that dude shot in Compton, that changed everything.
The 100 video.
The 100 video. And I had spoke about that and remember I said that I told Wack and Game about that. And Top thing is like, hey, that gotta be it don't need to be perceived that Dot just stopped talking to Kendrick out of nowhere. I mean Kendrick stopped talking to Game out of nowhere. Right. That was the thing that, you know what I'm saying? That did it. And he reminded me that some of the younger guys, when they shot that J-Rock video, they went over to Game's house to do that part. And Game when he put that mask on, he said that the label or somebody said he couldn't show his face. But 2 weeks later, he did a Hurricane Chris video.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
these are the things that Top is reminding me on the phone. And I told him, I'm like, who from the crew that we need to have on, you know what I'm saying? Right. To make sure that it's done correctly. He's like, nah, I'm loving everything you're doing. I'm just telling you. He's like, I was talking to Dot last night. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, let him know it's all love. But he's like, I love everything you're doing. You telling the truth. Just that clip didn't have that part in there, so I don't want it to look like this. Dot just was like, I just stopped talking the game for no reason. So that's what it.
Now we know the reason why. Kendrick Lamar don't like the game because the game collaborated with Drake. Like, I ain't gonna lie, yo. And for some reason, they thought that was a better reason. As if that's not more goofy. You don't like the game because the game did a song with Drake and allowed Drake to come to his hood. So you just run all of Compton now. Game and bring Drake to your block. Game and bring Drake to your hood. Game brought Drake to his hood with his friends and his homies. So now you don't like Game because he... hold on. When was that song, bro? Hold on, man. When the Game dropped 100? When did the Game... It has to be like a decade ago. It has to be... Bruh. 100 dropped in 2015. That's how long Kendrick Lamar been hating on Drake. Kendrick Lamar been hating on Drake for 11 years. He got mad at the Game because the Game had Drake in Compton, as if he runs all of Compton, and he kept that grudge with him for 11 years. Now do you see how sick and obsessed Kendrick Lamar was with Drake? Is that normal to you guys? No, do you guys honestly think that's normal? Do you guys think that Drake had like this fiery beef with Kendrick Lamar in 2015? Do you really think that Drake, who at that time was dealing with Meek Mills, trying to expose him for ghostwriting rumors, you really think Drake had this everlasting beef with Kendrick Lamar in 2015? No, Kendrick Lamar was this obsessed hater. You is cutting off a dude who showed love to you early. You cutting off a dude who you was really cool with early, 2015, because he did a song with Drake. Now do you understand the obsessed, weirdo stuff that we be talking about? Nobody can mask that up. That is goofy. That is beyond goofy. What does that man bringing Drake to Compton, to his hood, have to do with you and him? He ain't diss you. He ain't do nothing to you. Bro, that's just, man, hey, bro, y'all got to understand, bro. Y'all got to stop, like, decorating and mask. Bro, goofy stuff is goofy stuff, man. Y'all let me know in the comment section what y'all think about this, okay? If you're still watching this video and you want to watch another good video, click on this video right here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, or here, or here, somewhere on my screen to find out why exactly Cameron just committed a felony on his podcast today. I'm going to see you guys in this Cameron video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.